This country sits on $1 to $3 trillion worth of untapped minerals, including lithium, copper, iron, cobalt, and rare earths used in electric vehicles, smartphones, and military tech. Today is day one of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Afghanistan. It holds one of the world's largest lithium reserves, yet large-scale mining has never been established. Nearly 75% of the land is mountainous, making transport, governance, and industrial projects extremely difficult. Because of this terrain, no foreign power in history, British, Soviet, or American, has ever achieved full control. For over 2,000 years, this land sat at the crossroads of Central Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East, forming a critical section of the Silk Road. Today, it produces over 90% of the world's illicit opium, making it the single most influential country in the global heroin supply chain. This country has more military bunkers than McDonald's outlets on Earth. Today is day two of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Albania. During the Cold War, Albania built over 170,000 concrete bunkers for a population of under 3 million people. That's roughly one bunker for every 4 citizens. The government prepared for invasion from all directions. NATO, the Soviet Union, Yugoslavia, even countries it once called allies. To maintain control, Albania isolated itself completely. Foreign travel was banned. Private car ownership was restricted. Listening to Western radio or music could lead to prison. For decades, Albania was one of the most isolated nations on Earth. After communism collapsed in the 1990s, the country flipped its alignment. Today, Albania is a NATO member, an official EU candidate, and one of the most pro-American societies in Europe. This country is so large that over 80% of its land is pure desert, yet it is one of Africa's biggest energy exporters. Today is day 3 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Algeria. Algeria is the largest country in Africa by land area, bigger than India's entire western region combined. More than 4/5 of Algeria lies in the Sahara Desert, making population, agriculture, and infrastructure extremely concentrated along the Mediterranean coast. Despite that, Algeria is a major global supplier of natural gas, especially to Europe, with pipelines running directly under the Mediterranean Sea. Energy exports dominate the economy, accounting for over 90% of export revenue. Algeria also fought one of the bloodiest independence wars of the 20th century. Between 1954 and 1962, the war against French rule killed hundreds of thousands and reshaped modern anti-colonial movements worldwide. This country has no airport, no army, yet has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. Today is day 4 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Andorra. Andorra is a microstate tucked between France and Spain in the Pyrenees Mountains, covering just 468 square kilometers. It has no airport and no railway. The only way in or out is by road through neighboring countries. Andorra also has no standing army. Defense is informally guaranteed by France and Spain, a system that has worked for centuries. Despite its size, Andorra is one of Europe's wealthiest countries per capita, largely due to tourism, banking, and duty-free shopping. Over 80% of its GDP comes from tourism, with millions visiting each year for skiing and tax-free goods. Here's the unusual part. Andorra is ruled by 2 co-princes at the same time, the President of France and a Spanish Catholic bishop. This political system dates back to 1278 and still exists today. This country has one of the youngest populations on Earth, even younger than India. Today is day 5 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Angola. Angola has a median age of around 16, making it one of the youngest nations in the world demographically. It's also one of Africa's largest oil producers, with oil and gas making up the majority of export revenue. The country's capital, Luanda, became one of the most expensive cities in the world for expatriates, despite large income inequality at home. Angola fought a long civil war from 1975 to 2002. Shortly after gaining independence from Portugal, it became one of the longest civil conflicts of the 20th century. Post-war reconstruction was dominated by Chinese companies who built highways, housing blocks, railways, and government buildings, paid largely through oil-backed loans. Angola also has one of Africa's highest urbanization rates, with millions moving to cities after the war ended. This country has more coral reefs than luxury resorts. Today is day 6 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda sit in the Caribbean Sea, made up of 2 main islands and several smaller ones. Despite its small size, the waters around Antigua and Barbuda hold coral reefs, shipwrecks, and rare marine species, making it a global hotspot for diving and marine biodiversity. The country has one of the highest ratios of coast-to-land area in the world, with 365 beaches. Locals say one for every day of the year. Tourism dominates the economy, bringing in most of the country's foreign revenue. Barbuda, the smaller island, is particularly unusual. Land has historically been held in common, meaning private freehold land ownership is rare and highly restricted. Antigua was once a major base for the British Royal Navy, using deep natural harbors to control Caribbean trade routes. This country has the world's oldest continuously inhabited city. Today is day 7 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Argentina. Argentina is the second largest country in South America by land area, stretching from tropical north to subantarctic south. It contains part of the Andes Mountains, one of the world's major seismic and volcanic zones, and home to Aconcagua, the highest peak outside Asia, standing at 6,960 meters. Argentina also claims part of Antarctica, one of only a few countries with a permanent Antarctic presence, including research stations and year-round staff. The capital, Buenos Aires, is considered one of the most European cities outside Europe due to massive immigration from Italy and Spain during the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
This country was the first state in the world to adopt Christianity as its official religion. Today is day 8 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Armenia. Armenia sits in the South Caucasus between Turkey, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Iran. It became the first officially Christian country under King Tiridates III, decades before the Roman Empire converted. The country is extremely mountainous, with about 90% of its territory above 1,000 meters elevation. Armenia also has one of the largest diasporas relative to its population, with more Armenians living abroad than inside the country, due to centuries of war, trade, and genocide. The most significant event of modern Armenian history is the Armenian Genocide of 1915, when the Ottoman Empire expelled and killed over 1 million Armenians. Armenia has no diplomatic relations with Turkey, and its borders with Turkey and Azerbaijan remain mostly closed.
This country is so huge it spans 3 time zones, but over 85% of its people live within 50 kilometers of the coast. Today is day 9 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Australia. Australia is the 6th largest country on Earth, yet much of its interior is extremely dry and sparsely populated. More than 60% of the continent is desert, with some regions getting less than 250 millimeters of rain annually. Because of this, Australia is one of the most urbanized countries in the world, with major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide located along the coast. Australia is also a biodiversity hotspot, with around 80% of mammals, reptiles, and plants found nowhere else, including kangaroos, koalas, echidnas, and platypuses. The Great Barrier Reef is the largest coral reef system on Earth, stretching over 2,300 kilometers and visible from space. This country generates around 75% of its electricity from renewable sources. Today is day 10 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Austria. Austria is a landlocked Central European country, with the Alps covering about 2/3 of its territory, making it one of the most mountainous countries in Europe. Its geography gives it massive hydropower capacity, which is why most of its electricity comes from rivers and dams instead of fossil fuels. Austria is among the wealthiest EU countries per capita, with strong industries in manufacturing, tourism, machinery, and high tech. Despite being surrounded by NATO countries, Austria has maintained military neutrality since 1955, but still operates a capable army and participates in EU missions. The capital, Vienna, consistently ranks as one of the most livable cities on Earth due to low crime, efficient public transit, and a massive social housing system that keeps rent affordable. Historically, Austria was the core of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Empire, one of Europe's major powers until World War I. Tourism is a major economic sector, with millions visiting the Alps for skiing and hiking, and cities like Vienna and Salzburg for culture and architecture. This country has fire burning straight out of the ground, with flames that never go out. Today is day 11 of a trip to every country in the world. This country is Azerbaijan. The country holds over half of the world's mud volcanoes, which erupt with mud, gas, and sometimes fire. A rare geological combination found almost nowhere else. Azerbaijan sits on the Caspian Sea, above one of the oldest oil-producing regions on Earth. By the early 1900s, its capital, Baku, produced nearly 50% of the world's oil, powering early industries and wars. Baku is also the lowest capital city on Earth, located about 28 meters below sea level. Today, Azerbaijan is a major energy corridor, sending oil and gas to Europe through pipelines that bypass Russia. Despite being a majority Muslim country, Azerbaijan operates as a secular state, with religion kept separate from government. Its modern history is shaped by conflict with Armenia, especially over Nagorno-Karabakh, which has led to multiple wars since the 1990s.